You almost have to listen to the measure before you're playing the next measure to know where the decay happened in the measure before on the note and where to pick up on the next note, because it's coming out of the measure before. Is that right?
Yeah.
So here's what happened. Let's say you had this peak. You did this, watch. Right? Now this A is now decaying. It's decaying. And the left hand is decaying now because that's the last thing you heard. Now when you start this A, it has to come out of what happened before. See what I mean? I am very aware that as that was decaying, I wanted to have a thread of continuity out of the chord that was ringing into the new note. Because sometimes it could just sound like it comes from nowhere and it comes too loud. So I want you to listen to the last thing you've ever heard in whichever hand is playing. In this case, it's going to be this, right? Now that's fading, and I'm picking it up on the fade. And that's what's so beautiful. The pianist that can always come from before into the after. And this piece especially, that affects it, right? Because even when you have things like this, watch. Look. I was listening to the level of sound level, you know, volume, from the last thing I heard so that I could thread into that upbeat with the right color and the right dynamic and the right sound. So I'm always thinking before goes to after, not it's done, oh, now I'm starting something else.
This is one of the places about really having to psych out my piano. So for me,
you have to psych out your piano. I should do a blog called Psyching Out My Piano. Outsmarting my piano.
It's almost like, Shirley, it's almost like I got to go all the way back to this one. I got to start there and make sure I have the right volume there.
Right.
As I come down through there, then, you know?
Yeah,
and
so on that place you just played, that's another roll in, right? Because it's a scale. So you don't want to get, in my opinion, to start with the MF. You start a little under the MF and then you dead weight into the MF and the crescendo. That's always the case. Otherwise you get a sudden smack. And that goes back to what happened before there when you did this. See, I'm listening for, watch. Do you see what I did? That E matched a very soft end of the diminuendo that came before. Then I went into the keys after that. Because it would be way too abrupt to smack down on that E.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to be careful that it doesn't outshine this note that's decaying. So you have to play this very soft because you want this balance. See? You don't want suddenly that to jump out because the listener's listening to the E upstairs as it dissolves and decays. Now, pick it up on, yes, now in the keys. That's right. Now you got the idea. Least. Soft. More. Most. Keep up the intensity. Right, keep your intensity. Keep it. Destination resolve.
So I know I would go back, but if I'm dipping here to the...
Well, then you're going to start that. Yes, you're going to repeat and you're going to listen for the last bit of decay on what you heard last and match the bottom of that decay and then go deeper again, just like you did. Resolve. Yes, that's the idea. Good. Be careful of that, though. Be careful of...
Oh, okay.
The last beat is always going to be lighter. We know that with Chopin Waltz. We want, watch. Right? So that third F sharp, or the third beat F sharp, we don't want to hear that slam down. We want it to float out of the F sharp before it. For me, artistically, I would go. Then. See, I really floated it out lighter. I really went lighter because I'm floating. My mind is hearing the first F sharp and the other one is just floated out of it. It's like floating along. That's right. Now, then you go da-dee. Go faster. Careful of that. And this is a spot that's hard. What do I do to avoid that? I use a wrist forward on the G sharp. I use a wrist forward because that's a place you don't want to slam on that G sharp. Hard place. Those G sharps can poke like
that. Was that one?
Yeah, both the G sharps. Let's do the last one is the softest G sharp, isn't it? Watch.
Yeah.
Watch. Yes. Perfect. Do you hear the difference what you just did now?
Okay.
It's going to be important because that makes the piece like so much different to the ears to hear it. Another place, after you come out of watch, decaying, now pick up on the decay. See, look at that.
Yeah, that's a hard, this is another place I'm going to have to psych out the piano.
Yeah, I mean, because you got a bright piano there. Yeah, you got a bright piano. Be careful with going too fast into that half note on measure, let's see, 42, 44. Watch what I mean. It comes at the right moment. Watch. I use that wrist forward because I could delay it a little bit and get a real half note out of it. That is the color of a half note. Much better. Now dip down. Again, go forward. Oh, don't like it so pokey. That's easy to do.
I was trying to make that one lighter.
Use your transfer weight. Wait, transfer weight. Look how I transfer weight. I don't use any finger pokes. I just drag across the 3 fingers. As if I were clustering them and I just drag across them. Yeah, be careful of the 2 F sharps. Remember we talked about floating the second one? Float, and you come out on that beat. That's right.
Okay.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Around those G sharps to remind yourself not to crash on the hard thumb G sharps. That happens to be the 7th note of the scale of A major in that case. And the 7th note of any scale you don't want to smack.
Oh yes, the
leading tone. Right, you just want to be real careful about leading tones. So there's the leading tone right there. Yeah. And then when you got here, when you finish, now it's already dissolving, and you have to listen to the very end so you come in with, you know, what flows into the next phrase. It's always floating, flowing and floating. floating and flowing from phrase to phrase. Yeah, maybe you should lighten your pedal a little, getting a little blurry. I think the blurriness is coming because you're putting one pedal on all of these, see? When you do the ornament. I think we decided we weren't going to start the pedal with the ornament until, watch, here. We were not going to use a pedal at the beginning of that measure. We were going to no pedal, pedal down now in a slight blur. Yeah, remember how we practiced that? We did not play the pedal on E, F. Because you don't want 4 notes like that. It's going to be over submerged. And when you get there, there's no pedal here. Watch. I'm doing it in slow-mo. But here, now down and blur slightly and then new pedal. Yeah, otherwise you get a mess there. The E, F is no pedal. You come down the pedal on the second E. Pedal, pedal, pedal. No pedal. Now pedal.
Okay.
New pedal. So that cleans it up. Perfect. Do you see how much different it is? That was super cleaner than before.
Okay. Okay.
So when you have a lot of half steps, you got to be careful. Correct that because you got a B sticking out. Right. And yeah, I think that could be phrased better. Yeah. Now there again, watch out for that D sharp. Watch out for that D sharp. That it doesn't go around it. Yeah.
Was that better?
Yeah. The destination note is the C at the end. Yeah. Watch me for a minute. So smooth. This is very smooth. Very steady. Actually do 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Don't bring the thumb under at those last notes. C sharp, D, E, F is 2, 3, 4, 5.
2, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that way you avoid a thumb accent. Look. See how I do it? Rolling motion. Yeah, now this is very floaty. You also have to notice the rest in measure 54 in the left hand on the 3rd beat, because you're going to have to get off the pedal. You got too many steps. You don't want to drown them there either, right? So watch. No pedal, pedal, no pedal. Otherwise you're going to get a mess. But that allows me to not hold that 2nd beat for over the rest, right? In the measure 54, the chord is only a 2 and rest stand. No pedal. Oh, we get off the pedal on the 3rd beats of those measures. They're rests. I would get off the pedal as soon as I play that C sharp. I would not have the pedal on there because this is going to get too blurry. I would just let it dry a little bit. See, because it's such a beautiful place where I get softer. Watch. No pedal. Then pedal. Pedal, pedal. Yeah. The way I played, I intensify coming down. Look what I do. See what I do?
Yeah.
Can I just show you how I would do it? I would go pedal, pedal, no pedal, pedal, soft no pedal. See? And then straight. You're doing a measured trill now, I think, on that trill.
Yes. Okay, so
the effect I would like is watch. Deep.